What really happened to Jungkook? Why did Jimin suddenly open his voice and accuse HYBE of hiding something big? A surprising fact came to light after such a long time. Do you believe that something has never been revealed to the public? Something that is never mentioned in a live broadcast, press conference, or even a closed-door interview? Have you ever wondered why in certain moments Jimin seemed anxious when Jungkook's name was mentioned? Or why did Jungkook suddenly disappear from the spotlight in a period that is not clearly explained? Today, for the first time, Jimin finally spoke. And what he said not only jolted the media, but also made BTS fans around the world wonder, what is HYBE really hiding about Jungkook? Before you continue reading, be sure to like subscribe and leave a comment below about what you think after hearing this confession. Trust me, you'll want to discuss this with someone else. Jimin sat alone in a small waiting room after a closed-door event that was not scheduled for the public. The camera does not turn on. No microphone. But someone's recording. Not for content, not for media consumption, but because, in Jimin's own words, I can't keep quiet. Not after what I know now. Not after what was done to him, to Jungkook. At first, it sounded like an ordinary emotional outburst. The annoyance of a best friend who felt betrayed by the system that was supposed to protect them. But the deeper Jimin spoke, the clearer it became that this wasn't just an emotion. This is a confession star. This is the alarm star. And this is a veiled request for help to dismantle the truth that has been neatly covered behind the glitter of stage lights. HYBE is not honest with us, Jimin said with a trembling voice. They're hiding something about Jungkook, and I can't stand pretending I don't know anymore. That statement alone is enough to make the room silent. But what left everyone completely speechless was when Jimin pulled something out of his pocket. A handwritten note that looked crumpled, with crease marks on each side. I'm not the one writing this. It's from him. From Jungkook. Sent secretly before he went to the military training site. I don't know if he knew this would be read or disseminated. The content of the letter makes cold blood anyone who reads it. Not because of threats, not because of hatred, but because of despair so deep, so silent, yet so real. I love them all, but I'm tired. There's so much I'm never allowed to tell. Even to Jimin. I knew he'd get hurt if he found out. But I can't lie forever. If anything happens to me, ask them. They know. HYBE knows. The letter was written in black ink. Simple, not dramatic, and hardly like Jungkook's style known for always being strong and calm. But it's precisely that simplicity that makes it all feel real and painful. After reading the letter, Jimin admitted that he had experienced sleep disturbances for weeks. He tried to contact Jungkook's personal manager, HYBE's staff, and even some of the trainers at the military training ground. Their answer? Sama, Jungkook is fine. You have nothing to worry about. But for Jimin, that's not the answer. That's avoidance. They don't look me in the eye when they say that. They're all visible, scared. Not afraid of me, but of something bigger, Jimin explained. And then, another surprise came. One of HYBE's former employees who asked not to be named contacted Jimin personally. This person claimed to have worked in an internal public relations department tasked with dealing with the crisis in the artist's image. I can't sleep anymore since reading Jungkook's notes. And when I saw how all the staff were directed to divert any questions about him, I knew this was no accident. Something is being hidden. Documents sent by the former employee showed that there had been a special order from HYBE executives to withhold the distribution of news related to Jungkook's personal condition during the transition period. It is not explicitly stated what transition means, but the report mentions a very suspicious term, emergency health protocol activation. Meaning, did Jungkook experience something physically or mentally that was never announced? And if so, why? One of the most shocking parts of the document mentions that the public is not ready to accept the true state of Jungkook if it becomes known too soon. This sentence makes many people suspect that the problem is not just an injury or burnout, but something deeper, probably traumatic. Maybe something that could shake the public's perception of the South Korean entertainment industry as a whole. Meanwhile, speculation is spreading wild. Some fans began piecing together the pieces. Jungkook's more than 3-week absence from social media before enlisting in the army, his seemingly thinner-than-usual appearance, as well as his blank expression in several scattered training videos. All the pieces are now like a puzzle that complement each other. But the question remains, what exactly happened to Jungkook? And more importantly, why did HYBE hide it? Even from the other BTS members? One of the most surprising theories came from a Korean entertainment industry analyst who did not want to be named. He revealed that many entertainment companies currently have silence clauses which are internal contracts that allow them to hide artist-related information for reasons of brand protection. If it is true that Jungkook is experiencing a severe mental health crisis, HYBE may think that letting the public know will damage the value of shares and international brand cooperation. They chose silence, although at the risk of losing the trust of the artist himself. Is that true? Jimin declined to speculate further. But his last statement before the interview gave a very strong hint I'll talk. Even if that means I have to face them head on. Because I'm more afraid of losing Jungkook, instead of losing the contract. And with that one sentence, everything changed. Fans around the world began to press HYBE with "Where is Jungkook?" and "HYBE speak up." The demand for clarity came not only from the army, but also from the public who had become saturated with the closure of an industry that had only shown the perfect side of their idols. What will HYBE do next? Will they admit that something did happen? Or will it continue to cover it up, hoping that the public will return to silence as before? We may not know the exact answer yet. But one thing is certain, the silence is over. And this all started from the courage of one person. Jimin, you believe they're hiding something? Write your opinion in the comments. Do you think Jimin did the right thing? Dan, what do you think really happened to Jungkook? But precisely when attention began to dim and the public seemed to be given sweet candy in the form of old photos of Jungkook that were deliberately republished by official accounts, one unexpected thing happened. A large fan site, known to be very close to BTS's internal managers since the pre-debut era, suddenly published a cryptic upload in the form of a text message with the sender's identity partially censored. The message reads, "If Jimin talks, they'll find a way to silence him." It's not about sickness or fatigue. It's a matter of decision, which should never have been made in Jungkook's own name. The post was deleted in 15 minutes, but it was too late. Hundreds of thousands of fans have already saved screenshots of it, translated it, shared it, and the most frightening thing for HYBE's part, began to believe. The public no longer accepts a neat narrative. They began to ask in a suspicious tone, who makes decisions on Jungkook's behalf? Why should Jimin be silenced? And what makes the blood rustle the most? Is it possible that Jungkook was forced to do something against his will? Behind the scenes, many have begun to dig into BTS's contractual past. Old rumors of a silent contract extension are starting to surface again. Some speculations have even suggested that Jungkook has refused to extend certain brand partnerships, and HYBE considers that to be a threat to their business structure, as the brand is also HYBE's own strategic investor. Some entertainment industry insiders claim that Jungkook had actually submitted a request for a full 1-year leave before his conscription. This request, according to unnamed sources, was flatly rejected by HYBE's board of directors. The reason? The global reputation must not be allowed to rest. The decision was touted as a breaking point between Jungkook and the agency. Even in internal documents, a suspicious term is written, compensated compliance agreement, a legal term that means a form of consent that a person gives because he is rewarded, not out of full will. If true, it means Jungkook has been bought to keep smiling, keep performing, and still serve as the public face of the company despite his personal resistance. Jimin knows this, and that's why he looks like a man holding a time bomb. Jungkook told me one thing before we separated for the army, Jimin said in an unofficial moment recorded by a senior staff member. He said, "I didn't choose this, I was framed for saying yes." The sentence echoed, not only for fans, but also other musicians who began to compare Jungkook's story with previous idols who disappeared quietly from the spotlight. There are even mentions of other big names who have retired suddenly after contract conflicts, but none as big as Jungkook. And no one is shrouded in fear this much. One of the most controversial passages came when Jimin reportedly sent a private message to HYBE's senior staff with a very sharp sentence. "I know you are withholding this information not because you are stupid, but because you are afraid that your money is missing." The message was leaked, of course. And although it was not confirmed, no one on HYBE's side disputed the authenticity of the words. A silence louder than any official statement. Tensions boiled over when it was revealed that some of Jungkook's pre-enlistment training sessions were conducted separately from other members, reportedly at the request of internal security. Does that mean Jungkook is experiencing psychological pressure that needs to be separated? Or, even darker, does a certain party think he has the potential to leak things that should never have come to the public? The issue of internal control began to arise. There were even rumors that for the last month before Jungkook enlisted, he was accompanied by at least 2 staff from HYBE wherever he went, including to a private studio. Someone from HYBE's inner circle called it a safeguard to keep her emotionally stable. But is it really? Or is it, in fact, surveillance? More suspiciously, there is no official footage or documentation showing the moment of separation between Jungkook and the other members before enlistment. Usually, HYBE always releases those moments as a form of emotional promotion. But this time? Empty. Silence. It was as if a huge gap had been deliberately covered. Most poignant, though, was the reaction of fans after realizing one little thing that had been overlooked in Jungkook's last letter to ARMY before his hiatus. There was not a single thank you note for the agency, not as usual. No, thanks to HYBE. No, with our big family. Just words for ARMY, for BTS members, and for himself. If I could vote again, I would still be a singer, but maybe somewhere else, another time. A closing sentence that now feels like a farewell message full of wounds. And while HYBE continued to be silent, Jimin continued to speak. Not in front of the camera, but in his little messages and wevers, in the eyes that speak more than words, and in the musical choices he uploads, which are full of implicit messages and ironies undeniable. Is the public ready to accept the fact that one of the world's greatest idols may have lost his basic right to choose his own path in life? And if this is true of Jungkook, who will follow? Who will dare to speak next? Jimin has already started. But the question is, will the public listen before it's too late? As the issue began to spiral more and more wildly among fans, one inevitable thing began to emerge. The public began to question whether Jungkook really had complete freedom during the last years under HYBE. Because after everything Jimin revealed, it began to feel clear that the things that we had thought were Jungkook's choices, from public appearances, collaboration projects, even his actions in certain events, were most likely never entirely from himself. Several former choreographers and vocal coaches who had worked with BTS off-record began sharing their experiences of how Jungkook often looked emotionally exhausted ahead of his comeback, yet was still forced to do retakes dozens of times. One of them even stated that one night, after the rehearsal session closed, Jungkook sat alone on the floor of the studio room and whispered quietly, "They don't care if I can still breathe or not. The important thing is that I look alive on camera." The phrase was once considered an ordinary form of frustration. But now, with all the bits of information coming out of Jimin's mouth, his meaning changed completely. He became the loud alarm of someone who was being slowly strangled, but forced to smile so the world wouldn't panic. But the culmination of all this chaos came not from Jimin, nor from fans or former HYBE staff, but from a short 24-second video leaked online from the company's internal communications platform. The video shows Jungkook in a meeting room, surrounded by 5 men in suits whose faces are censored. In the video, one of the men is heard saying in a high tone, "If you continue to refuse this contract, then everything we have built with you will collapse. We can change your face in a week." The sentence was followed by Jungkook's voice, weak but firm, which answered "Change my face. Just try it. But you can't change my soul." The video disappeared a few minutes after it appeared. It is suspected that the leak was the result of former internal staff who had not worked in the company for a long time. But the damage is already done. The whole fandom exploded. The hashtags #ProtectJungkook, #FreeJungkook, and #HYBEExposed now started trending in 32 countries in less than an hour. Some of the previously silent figures of South Korean entertainment began to give sharp allusions in their uploads. One senior artist wrote, "If you think the industry is clean, it's because you only see the lights, not the shadows." Jimin, who has been known to be gentle and avoid public conflict, instead began to take center stage as the only BTS member who consistently did not cover up the wounds of the system. In fact, fans began to find that in some of the lyrics of Jimin's earlier solo songs, there was an implicit sense of frustration and helplessness facing a huge system that they couldn't fight directly. One of the lyrics that is now viral again reads asterisk, "I embrace you silently even though my heart screams. Because I don't know where to fight either." Asterisk, has this always been the only way Jimin spoke?